Hi guys, welcome to part 4 of the lithium-ion battery pack problem that I am still trying to resolve, or well, I think the lithium-ion battery pack problem in itself has been resolved. This thing just needs a case now. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video, is building the case for this, which shouldn't be too hard theoretically. At first I was just going to go buy a case and stick these in it. And I started looking around on Amazon and didn't really find any cases that I was particularly liking for this. They're either too small in one dimension or too large in one dimension. So we're going to end up probably making a just 3D printing the case like I did in the first place. So I took a few measurements on it. I'm thinking the case is going to end up being about 10 inches long, which is going to put it out to about here. It should give me enough room to put the control circuit, or whatever you want to call it, the protection circuit board here. And then I'm going to make it slightly wider than 4 inches, because these batteries are almost exactly 4 inches in width. And we're going to go about 2 1/4 inches high. And this battery is about 2 inches tall. But anyhow, that's all this video is going to be, is designing the case and then 3D printing it. And I'm going to have to do probably about the same thing I did before. I actually wonder if I couldn't modify the files that I already have. Might actually be a good idea to try that. But anyhow, I'm going to have to end up doing the same thing that I did before and split the models up into halves so I can actually print the things, because I have a limit of about 8 inches or so that I can print. So if I cut this, you know, if it's a 10-inch long box, I obviously can't print that because I can only print about 8 inches, so you have to cut it in half and then glue the pieces together, which worked out okay the last time. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing again. So I'm going to go ahead and first off take a look at the files that I already have and see if I can't modify them. I kind of doubt that I can. It's really hard to actually modify files in 123D design for whatever reason. But I'm going to try it anyway and see if I can get it to work, and hopefully I can. Alright, so this is the first piece off of the printer. I tried using ABS juice or ABS slurry or whatever you want to call it on the print bed on top of blue painter's tape, and well, the painter's tape's kind of stuck on there, so I'm going to have to do some work and get that off of there. Also, as usual with my printer, I ended up with some cracks in this, so I'm going to have to do some work on that. Actually, this whole layer almost looks like it's cracked all the way around. But I'm going to have to do some work repairing that. But I think this will be a salvageable part at least. Alright, so we've got a few pieces done for the case here. Actually, all 4 of the pieces that I need. Pretty much done anyway. I've just left the sort of extra plastic around these that's there at this point. And I'll kind of explain what's going on here. But I was experimenting a little bit when I printed these. I was using ABS slurry on a sheet of glass in order to print these off, and you'll see that the sort of ABS slurry peeled off with it, but these 2 pieces of the lid actually came out really nicely. So if I pull this stuff off of here, it should actually be a fairly nice part. I might have to sand the edges down. Now, the one of the pieces I actually printed on the blue painter's tape plus the ABS slurry, and that thing got stuck on there really hard and didn't want to come off, so ended up peeling the tape off, and there's still tape on there if you see that, and it's actually, the tape is actually underneath a layer of plastic right now, because I just took some of that ABS slurry and went back over the tape just to cover it up. But anyhow, this is the other piece of the lid. Also has all this sort of flashing material almost on it. Now these of course were printed in 4 separate pieces, since I'm limited to about 8 inches or so with my printer, and we wanted to make, what, a 10.5 inch box or something like that. So anyhow, all this stuff should just kind of punch through. It makes a nice glossy surface on the top of it at least. Kind of funny looking actually, but it's alright. I'll have to do some cleanup work on these parts, but anyway, let's see here. I actually made a mistake in the 3D model of this, which I had to go back and fix. But there's a little bit too much of a gap in here. I forgot to adjust the size of it, so that's actually fixed now. I'll probably make these files available for download on Thingiverse or something like that, just in case anyone wants to mess with them. But yeah, I had to fill that in with the ABS slurry stuff again, which was really, I used some really thick ABS slurry basically on that, and just kind of melted these two parts together. It makes a really strong bond actually, so that's not all bad. We'll see if these actually fit in here. I'm thinking they might be a little bit too big to actually fit in here properly. Yeah, so those might need some filing to get them to fit in here right. But that's alright. These are relatively easy to modify. Actually, it's quite a bit too big. It's interesting, unless this box needs to stretch out some more. Just something. Almost feels like it would go in if I forced it enough. Anyway, there's still a bit of work to be done. I'm going to have to sand these down so that they're a little bit smaller, fit together better, and fit into this box. I'm going to have to do some sanding on the box itself and clean it up some, make it look a little nicer. Then I'll probably acetone smooth these as well. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on that. But I'm going to make these fit first, glue them together, and then I'll start working on sanding this box down, making it smooth, make it look kind of nice, and I'll see what I can do with it. Alright, so I thought I'd just show you my method for joining these things together. I've got this old bowl here, which has just got acetone and some more of this black ABS plastic in it. You can get to see it down in there, and it's really thick. I've just got a paintbrush here. This is thinner than I thought it was actually. This might not work too well, but basically I'm just going to spread this over the seams on one side, and then I'm going to wait for that to dry, which might actually have to leave it for the day. But I'm going to spread that over this and then flip it over, get the other side, and sand it smooth. And you can fill gaps with this stuff too, which is kind of nice. Which I'll have to get with those. But yeah, that right there looks like they'd be about straight if that hardens. So I'll probably let this dry, and I'll come back later and get those gaps. Try to get this as smooth as I can too. But it's kind of hard to do because this paintbrush is so hard now. It's coated in plastic, but anyway, that will make an extremely strong bond. And of course you can just melt the sort of remains of any kind of plastic you have, including this stuff. Didn't want it to fall on there though. Anyway, remains of old parts is what I've been using because I've got quite a few of those. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and I'll come back later. I've got this piece kind of sanded up, so I'll probably end up doing the acetone smoothing on this pretty soon. So anyhow, see you then. Alright, so continuing our rather long case building section of this video, I've got this pretty much done. I'm going to get some like rubber feet to put on the bottom of this. But other than that, I don't think I'm really going to do too much else to this. It turned out okay. It's not perfect by any means, but it'll get the job done at least. So I suppose the next order of business is getting the circuitry out of the old case and transplanting it into here and getting the battery pack into here. But this so far has taken quite a long time, a fair number of weeks in fact, which is why this video is so late. But this battery pack has just been sitting around since then. Haven't used it at all, so we're going to go ahead and check the voltages out on the cells and make sure that everything's holding up good. So first set of cells is 4.11 volts. The next one 4.11 again. Next one is 4.15. So those are holding the charge just fine, so no worries there. So anyway, I'm going to get to work getting the circuitry and stuff out of this. Hopefully I can keep the XT60 connectors and stuff, and I can get these out of here. They are super glued in place though, so I've kind of got my doubts with that. Alright, so it's been a few weeks since I started filming this video, but anyway, I finally got the case just about done. It needs a few more finishing touches on it, like the Velcro for the inverter and the labels, but anyway, it's pretty much put back together. I even went through the trouble to print some rubber feet using Ninja Flex filament. So those actually work fairly well too. It sits nice and flat, and it doesn't slide around too easy. Those Ninja Flex stuff isn't exactly the grippiest stuff in the world, but it is kind of interesting because you can actually push in on the feet and they kind of flex a little bit. Anyway, changes this time. I actually have a fuse in this. Now, this port, the port on this side is still connected straight to the battery, no fuses, 10 gauge wire. That's the port that will be used to charge this, and the port that I hook the inverter to. This fuse goes for this port and the internal protection circuitry that's inside here. And that is a 10 amp fuse, which is for this connector, like I said. That's got the MOSFET in here as well that controls this port, which has the low voltage cutout. So that's all good. I'll go ahead and bring up the other case here, which you'll see is a decent bit smaller than this one here, and I've got to get some Velcro for this one so I can still mount the inverters. But anyway, I did have the LED lights going around the outside of this case, which was actually kind of a useful feature. I might go back eventually and add that to this one, because as you can see right now I don't have that. Before with this case, I had these rubber feet which I pulled off the bottom of the laptops, or the laptop batteries, and this case was warped quite a bit more. All 3D printed parts, of course. This case almost fits together better at the top, though, I will say that. This one wasn't too impressive, and I kind of had to glue it and push it to get it to actually work. But this case is, the new case anyway, is quite a bit thicker than the old one, because I had to accommodate for that extra battery that was stuck on the top of the pack. But anyhow, we'll go ahead and stick the labels on it real quick. We'll use this as the reference, and I think I even still have all these on the same side, so that's kind of cool. Balance connector, of course, in the middle. This power switch just turns on the circuitry. It's not really required for anything else. But anyhow, I'll go ahead and make up some labels for this and stick them on there. Alright, so that pretty much concludes part 4 of this video. In part 5, I'm going to mount the inverter to it and do some more testing on this battery pack, make sure that my protection circuit still works, and I might test the capacity again. And I don't know what else I'm going to do with it, but anyhow, I think part 4 has gone on plenty long enough, and it's definitely taken way too long to produce, probably on the better part of 4 weeks at this point. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.